Okay. Hi, welcome to Time to Process. That's hard to say today. I am here with one of my absolutely favorite people in the whole world. This is Shelly Brandt.
Hi.
She has been my across the street neighbor for 7.5 years, right?
Seems like longer.
Seems
in
like
a good way.
forever.
In a good way. In a good way. That was a good way.
No, literally, we're like sister wives.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, both of our husbands travel for work. We just like our kids have grown up together. They're always running the streets. We have done dinners together. We have done all the things together.
Yep.
That's just like she's part of my village. She's part of the Bunko group. If you listen to last week's episode, you'll know what I'm talking about. But okay, so quick introduction to Shelly, and I'll let her give mostly the introduction. But she is freakingbomb.com. She has been an RN, she's a nurse practitioner and an injector. But okay, so tell me, how long have you been an RN?
Oh, I'm really bad with numbers. Probably, I think like 13 years. And then I went back to school to get my nurse practitioner. I graduated a year and a half, 2 years ago-ish.
I feel like it's been 2 years.
I'm bad with numbers.
We don't even know how old we are.
Time flies. I've been an aesthetic injector. I started actually right before COVID is when I got trained.
Yes,
so it was kind of a crazy time. And then, COVID with I was an ICU nurse. So then with COVID, I was back in the ICU, and I actually went to New York during the whole crazy.
We gotta talk about that. I kind of forgot about that.
I forgot about that too until we were just talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was crazy. And then a nurse practitioner has always been my goal, one of my goals. And so my husband's like, he was the one that pushed me. He's like, just do it, just apply. And so I did it. And now I'm a nurse practitioner, and I work at a family practice clinic. I'm a family nurse practitioner, and I work at a family practice clinic, and I also do my own business of aesthetic injecting. And I'm a mom and a wife to a husband who's gone every week, and sister wife.
Let's just add to the list.
All the things.
Oh my gosh. I know. Well, and that's what's so crazy is that I feel like when I had asked on my social, like, what do you do for a living? That's like one of my favorite things to ask about people. Like, what do you do? Like, tell me about, and like, why did you choose that? And I love when we say that, because I'm like, actually, I'm like 75 things. Yeah. I am a chauffeur and I'm a cook. I mean, which I freaking hate, but like we literally do all the things.
Yes.
All the things.
And we're thinking about all the things all day, every day.
All the time. I know.
When you're at work, you're like, oh, it's 3:30. Are the kids home? Did they do this?
And did so-and-so get picked up? Yep. And did I do carpool for so-and-so? Yep. And also,
what's for dinner tonight?
I literally just
who's carpool for practice? And
I know.
What do I have tomorrow? And what do all the things.
Oh, I know. All the things. Anyway, okay, so we'll get more into like what Shelly does, because she really does have some like amazing stories of things that she's done. But so again, if you listened last week, I am doing a couple of things where I'll give you a quick life update every week, and then as well tell you my favorite things. Okay, quick life update. Honestly, not much. Still summer. I don't think I said this in my last week's episode, but I actually took the summer off from doing hair. So that has been real wild. I feel like everyone has asked me, like, have you enjoyed it? And I'm like, I feel like I've still been working like a 9-to-5 job, because I'm literally in the car from like 7 to 4 every day. Mm-hmm. So I am enjoying it.
We actually remember had a goal. We were going to go.
We have not yet been to the pool.
I cut back my work schedule as well. And then we were like, we are going to go to the pool or the reservoir once a week. Have we been once?
No, not even once.
Not once.
I know. And I feel like even when I've tried to go over, it's like at 5 o'clock. And I'm like, I'm going to lay out for 1 hour. And well, there's like a little bit of such just stupid busy. I know. It's ridiculous. Yes. So not a huge life update there, just that I'm running a million kids around. We are doing all the sports. We're doing softball, basketball, and football right now. And I don't know, like literally nothing. Like not a huge life update. I feel like I'll have more like once we go back to, kids go back to school and I go back to work. I don't know. There's not even 4th of July was last week. And yeah, just like really not much happening besides like tons of sports crap. I don't know. Actually, her son got a hole-in-one golfing last week. See, that's a big deal.
Yes, my 13-year-old who just started golfing, like very just started, is in a junior golf league, and he called and was like, Dad, I got a mother freaking hole-in-one. And we were like, no way.
No, I was just going to say, I was like, are you sure?
Yeah, so then we would pick him up and be like, ask everyone, like, a real hole-in-one? He's like, and even the golf pro was like, yes, it was insane. We haven't had anyone in 30 years in junior golf league get a hole-in-one.
Are you serious?
Yes, they like made a huge
they
deal
like
about
put
it.
a picture on it.
Yes, they did. They gave him like a gift card to La Casita, like all these things.
My gosh, was your dad like so
Yeah, he
stoked?
first like called my dad, and my dad's a big golfer, and he was like, Grandpa, when was the last time you got a hole-in-one? And my dad's like, I've never got a hole-in-one.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like most people have never.
Yeah, most people. And he's like, well, I got my first one today.
Oh my gosh.
So he like, my dad got him like a little trophy case, like for his like ball. He's like, keep that ball, and yeah. So it's been fun.
Obsessed.
But about
Amazing.
90% luck, 10% skill. I don't know if there's any skill. Oh, there's a lot of luck.
It has to be. Yeah, but like, who knows? He could be like this golf prodigy.
I mean, probably not, but he's not the most athletic kid. But he was like, yeah, it was like 114 yards over the creek. And I'm like, for real? But yeah.
You really was.
Yeah.
Oh my
There was
gosh.
5 witnesses.
I know literally nothing about golf. So, like, what was he doing? Was it like a driver? Like,
I don't know
he had to hit like
either, but it was like the tee off. Like if you get it in one, it's like where you tee off, and then you hit it, and it would go in the hole, like through the whole fairway and the green, and straight into the hole.
Oh wow! I feel like we have a celebrity among us.
So typically holes are like par 3 or par 4,
Yes.
and so that means like it should take 3 shots or 4 shots
to get in.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell him to remember the little guys who were here before he got famous.
Well, you know.
Okay, so that's my life update. Again, not that exciting, not very much going on, but okay, and then my 5 favorite things. So I will make sure to link everything probably on my in the YouTube comments as well as on my Instagram. I don't know. I need help figuring all of this out, but it'll be fine. Everything will be linked. But and these are actually good ones too, because some of them I wanted to talk about with Shelly because they are so good. Okay, we love, and this is again, because I'm doing things every week, I'm thinking of things that are like either like super helpful to my life, things I can't live without, and things that you just, because every time we go to a favorite things party, we're like, oh my gosh, what do I bring? I can't think of anything. But
I hate them.
I know,
for that
and
reason.
this is going to be
Stresses
very
me out.
helpful. Yes, because it's things that we don't think about where it's like, no, we literally use this on a daily basis. Yeah. Okay, so we love TJ Maxx. Mm-hmm. We love TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx hand soap is literally one of the greatest things you can buy.
Like what brand?
Okay, they have all the brands. They have the most amazing ones. But they're big bottles. They're like $5.99. Some of them, if they're marked on clearance, are like $2.99, $3.99. But they always have like the best scents. And a lot of them, like if you look them up on Google, because there's been some that I've bought and I'm like, I want to rebuy that again. Mm-hmm. They're like $25 a bottle. I know. That's the bad thing. I don't ever get to I know. I'm like, well, crap. But then there are times where, like this last time that I went, I got this coconut brand, and I will link it because I literally bought like 10 bottles because it smells so good and it's like super moisturizing, everything. But yeah, I bought like everything they had because it was so good. And I'm like, this is like a good enough scent and not too overpowering that I put it in all my bathrooms. Yeah. Sometimes you're like, oh, I'll put a little more like floral in mine. Yeah. Like a little bit more manly in the kids' bathroom or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, okay, people are sleeping on TJ Maxx hand soap. This is the thing, though.
Well, and I feel like they have prettier bottles that you can display too.
Yes.
So it looks nicer than the Bed Bath & Beyond ones.
Oh, absolutely. Or yes, and those ones are like cute, but sometimes they can be like a little obnoxious looking. Yeah. But that's I love that you said that about like how decorative they are, because that's where I learned about it. I didn't even know about them until my sister-in-law, Shauna, they had moved, or they had like built a cabin or something, and they had a decorator come in. And I was like, oh my gosh, all of these soaps, like everything like that in the bathroom is so cute. And she was like, let me tell you a secret that the decorator told me. And it was that she literally goes to Home Goods and TJ Maxx and gets all of these beautiful soaps.
That's amazing.
I'm like, all of these high-end places look like they have like $25 bottle soaps, but they're literally $5.99 from TJ Maxx.
That's awesome.
I know.
Go
So
to
quit
TJ
sleeping
Maxx.
on TJ Maxx soap, okay? But leave some for us because we told you where they were, but we're not going to gatekeep. We're not those kind of people. Okay. Second, I mentioned this actually in my episode last week, but the Philosophy, it's a face brand. Like they have all sorts of stuff. But and I'm sure people have heard about them. You can get it like at Nordstrom or at Sephora. But it's called Hope in a Jar. It's a face moisturizer, but this one is SPF. It's 30 SPF. It is so thick and so yummy on. Like it is a dream. It's like just glides on. It gives like the perfect sheen. Because you know when like there's sunscreen in something and it makes it look shinier.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like gross.
And it
we talked about
feels
this
like
last week too.
greasy.
Yes,
thick.
yes. And this does not at all. Like I, in fact, wore it one of the days to my daughter's softball tournament. Like I literally didn't wear any makeup at all. I just had done my brows because, you know, we have to do our brows. But that's all I put on and I loved it. Like I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I look like I have no makeup on. I don't know. Like it felt really good. Yeah, really good. Okay, so big fan of that one. Okay, actually, I want to ask you too. What's your favorite perfume right now? Do you have any favorites?
So I actually like perfumes make, now that I'm old, perfumes give me headaches.
Oh
So
my
I
gosh.
like don't wear anything.
Okay. Well, then I feel like you need to try this one just in case, just to see.
I think my husband would like it if I said
Yeah.
They give me headaches.
Probably. Because I feel like it's really strong at first, but then it like wears so nice. Okay. It's a good like everyday, but it's Burberry Goddess. So I got it for Christmas and same. I feel like I've kind of been like, there's been a few people that have asked me and I've told them, but I'm like, this is when I feel like I'm already halfway through the bottle. And that is so unlike me because I normally, I don't know, like I like it and then I'm like, I'm kind of over it and I'm just ready. Yeah. So, but this one I have literally worn every day. It's so good. So good. Okay. So that one. Okay. I'm actually going to switch these ones. Not that they have to be like in any specific order, but the last one I really want to talk to you about. Okay. So for my fourth one, my anniversary was a couple of months ago and I have been seeing all over Instagram and social, those custom air fresheners for the cars. Have you seen these?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. The brand is called Instafreshener, something like that.
Okay, maybe I've seen this. How do you say that?
You literally upload a picture of yourself or of somebody and it cuts you out into whatever the picture is, whatever you've uploaded to them. And it's a car freshener that goes in their car.
Oh, how funny.
Oh my gosh. It is freaking hilarious.
So did you do it?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I did it. And he laughed so hard.
Was it you?
And also it is my face, my entire head hanging from his rear view mirror every day.
That's the best.
And then, it's one of those things where I'm like, that sounds like so cheesy, but it has honestly been the gift that keeps on giving because every time I see him in his truck, it makes me chuckle. And people from his work have made comments about it. And
everyone knows he's taken now.
Yes, and then every time, he's always like, I love that I get to see your head bobbling around every day, every time I'm in the car. I'm like, this is literally fantastic. Now I want to give them to everyone.
Yeah. We actually did that for my teenage son because what do you get a teenage boy?
Okay. Yes.
I actually got him a pillow of his head. It's hilarious. It's so
of
funny.
His own head?
Yeah.
Oh
of his own head. Same thing, you upload a picture.
Yes.
And then they print it. You can get all different sizes.
Okay, so did you put it, is it
It was on Amazon.
bed?
Yeah, and I put it on his bed. And he we walk around. It was like one of the funniest Christmas gifts.
Oh my gosh. Okay, see, I am all about those custom things that I don't know. I'm like, even so sometimes too, they're expensive. I'm like, that was totally worth it.
Yeah.
I think they were $10 a piece, the air freshener things, but I was like, no, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, we got to look at that one too, the pillow thing, because that actually would be so funny. Okay, and then the last one. I'm actually a little bit behind on this one. Like I read it a couple of months ago, but it's like still been so much in my mind. The Women by Kristin Hanna. It's so good. It's so good. If you haven't read it, it's a historical fiction. It's about the Vietnam War, and it literally will blow your mind.
Yeah.
Like I have not stopped thinking about it. I've talked to everyone about it. I have talked to clients. I have talked to like family members.
Yeah.
Anyone and everyone that I've like, wait, do you read historical fiction? Have you read this yet?
Yeah.
And it's
even
so
if you
good.
don't read historical fiction, because I know you love historical fiction.
Mhm.
Courtney and I
Yeah.
are also in a book club together.
Yes, we are. We love book club.
And I know you really love historical fiction, and I'm kind of like, meh. I loved The Women.
Oh my gosh.
I also though like it was about a nurse, so I feel like like it resonated more with me
for sure.
But I like learned so much in that book. Like I learned so much about the Vietnam War and how like wasn't even that long ago, and like I think we've talked about this. Like a lot of us like went and asked our parents and our grandparents like, tell us more about this. Like, and so
they were literally there. They were a part of it.
Like,
I'm sure did your dad sign up?
He was just right under the draft or something. He like just finished right before, but his brothers were in the draft.
I was gonna say, my dad was like, yeah, I turned 18 in December of my senior year, and I totally had to like sign up. I'm like, wait, what?
I know, and I think we kind of it. Yeah,
no, and I had no idea. I'm like, I don't even remember learning about it in school.
Right, neither do I. And it was the Vietnam War. It kind of, and the book says this, it's kind of like a forgotten war, almost like everyone was
everyone was like so against it.
And it was, but it was a well done book. There's so much going on. There's a little love story. There's like combat. There's
but also like twists.
Yeah.
Twists that you're like, wait, what?
But really like sad, deep, like real life things like PTSD and addiction and things that like really give the story depth, which I really appreciated. But it's just a good.
It's so good. It's so good. So if you haven't read it, or you haven't even read any of Kristin Hanna's books, she's phenomenal. I could literally put one of her books on my list every single week because it's so good. So if not, go and read it. Okay, that was my top 5. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes because, guys, I totally have Botox. I've been getting it ever since Shelly did the Injector, course, if you will. Yeah. I definitely don't look this good without it. I am 40 this year, and it has made the biggest difference. Like, I feel like even with like putting my brows on, or like I have pretty droopy eyelids, like just naturally, it's definitely hereditary. So I get my lashes done too. That like kind of holds them up a little bit, and then a brow lift. But I feel like the notion that everyone has, even my own husband, was like, no, you look terrible and you look fake and you look plastic and it's too tight and all these things. But most of the time that people have it and they look good, you don't even know that they have it.
Right. And that's like, you'll see so many things on like E-News and TMZ, like, oh, so-and-so celebrity came out about her fillers or her Botox, or like, like it's like this big secret, which is like, you guys, it's not a secret anymore. Everyone does it.
Yes.
And it's not something you should like hide or be ashamed of. But really, if you go to a good injector, like they say that injections are undetectable, right? And so that's what I like to like tell everybody. I'm like, I want you, and the biggest thing with injections. So I had never done injections myself. Like I had never gotten Botox, any filler until I did my course. Because I think the big reason was it's very intimidating to go.
Yes.
Like I feel like
I had so many questions, but I didn't dare go to somebody I didn't know and ask the question. Well, and I felt so comfortable going to you because I knew you.
Yeah. And so and my thing was like, I don't look like those girls. Like I'm not like beautiful blonde hair and tall and skinny and like plasticky looking. Like
yes, you are.
But I'm like, I don't look like those girls. I don't necessarily want to look like those girls. And so it was intimidating going in, and there were so many questions that I didn't know. And yes, there's a bad stigma of like, you're going to look terrible, you're going to look plastic, but really you can look so natural. It just is like making you look a little bit better, your own, but I want like,
No, that's okay. Because this is the thing, is I feel like, because we talked about this right when you first started, because you kind of were trying to figure out like, okay, what's like me? What's going to be my brand?
Yeah.
What's going to be like my, my tag or whatever. And it's like, you really do specialize in lived in natural look.
Yeah.
Like where I feel like I specialize in lived in hair.
Yeah.
That's like looks natural, like you've been sun-kissed, like all of that. That you definitely specialize in making them look natural.
Right. Especially with
you
lips,
would never guess.
too.
Yes.
And that's the thing is you only know the bad Botox and bad fillers.
Yes.
That's the thing is like it's good injections are undetectable. And so and men are so funny about it. Men are so
funny.
Because and I tell about her husband all the time.
I know, because he is always like, no. And I'm like, listen, every time I get it, like 2 weeks later, you're like, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. I'm like, I know, because I just got my Botox.
Extra complimentary is what he is.
Yes.
But he was very
like, no, it's not. No, it's
don't
not.
do it. Don't do it.
Yes. Every single time. Because a lot of times I don't tell him. It's not, it's just like a part of like my, I don't know, it's just like in my calendar.
Yeah.
And
it's funny, there are a big chunk of women that their husbands still don't even know and they pay multiple different modalities and that's fine. But really, all they see is the really bad stuff. That's what people notice. But nobody's walking around being like, oh, half of my friends and half of these people have injectables, but you just don't know because they look really natural and really good. And that's what a good injector will do is you'll look really natural. You'll just look enhanced, right?
Yes.
It's just like leveled up.
100%. But I do think that nowadays it is getting more and more where it is talked about. It's not taboo.
Sure.
It's not like weird.
And that's why why are we still reporting on this e-news or whatever? We know everybody's getting it in Hollywood. Or like when J-Lo came out and was like, I have never gotten Botox. I'm like, you're that's full crap. I'm like, but let me tell you, there's other, so if you notice, they say, I'm not doing Botox, right? And when we say Botox, there's a lot of different brands. There's Botox, Dysport, Jeuveau, Daxxify, Xeomin. There's a lot of, they're called neuromodulators. But we just
this is what I want to know. This is where people need to know the backstory kind of.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, but we say it's like a brand name. Like Xerox is like the copier. So you say Xerox or Ziploc bags. Like there's a billion different Ziploc bags.
There's Great Value and Target.
Yeah. You just call it a Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
So when I say Botox, I'm just talking about neuromodulators in general. So any of them. And every injector kind of has their favorite neuromodulator, what they think works the best. And so I carry actually multiple. And so I will be like, okay, what are your goals? And if you're want to be more natural or different things, so there's different ones that are better for different things and reasons why.
Yeah, because you did Botox on me, brand Botox for a while, but then Dysport actually I really like, and it lasts a lot longer on me than Botox does.
Yeah, so Dysport is actually my favorite, and I would say probably 90% of my clients are on Dysport because it kicks in faster.
Yes,
it lasts longer, and you're essentially, if you break it down, the chemicals or whatever, you're getting 20% more for essentially the same price.
Okay.
So usually they're all the same price. When you get discounts on Botox, I mean, lots of times it's someone that's just starting out or, there are some specials and things like that, but be careful going for the discounted stuff.
Yeah.
Is my only thing to say.
I know. I actually was having this conversation with somebody not that long ago about that because somebody was asking, I actually don't even know how much it is per unit, but I know that you had mentioned to me, just like everything else right now, it's gone up in price. Mm-hmm. So people that are giving these quote unquote crazy discounts, it's how are they even doing that? Because their cost is still the same as what yours or any other injectors is.
Right. And that's why I say be cautious because you can get stuff from other countries, but it's not FDA approved. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Some sketchy stuff that can happen. So that's why another thing is you really should research your injector and make sure they know their stuff because they're going to be injecting your face and that's kind of a big deal. Botox is a huge deal.
Also, just go to Shelly because she makes you look this good.
But Botox is an expensive,
it is.
It's a luxury. It's an expensive thing.
But I do feel even me, I probably need to get it done here in the next little bit, but I do usually do it. It's like twice a year with Dysport now, like maybe 3 times a year. But I really can make it last because I'm like, I'm pretty frozen at first and it wears off over time, and you know, all the things where I'm like, I'm not like 100%, like, you know, all wrinkles or whatever. But I do love that it kicks in fast because mine I can notice like within the first 5 days. Yeah, for sure. Like to a week, I'm already like, oh, this is like tightening up. For sure.
So that's with Dysport specifically, 3 to 5 days it starts kicking in. It gets stronger and stronger till 2 weeks. At that 2-week mark, that's when it's at its very strongest, and then it slowly comes down over time. Like it's not like it just like is on and off, right? But that's the fun thing about doing like lips is that you can see it's like instant results.
Yes.
And so I mean, I only get to see my Botox that I do on patients for like my friends because I like see them after, but like usually I don't get to see.
Most people get, you're like, I'll see you in 4 months.
Yeah, I see you when the wrinkles are back. So and then another big question that people have is how long does it last? Because you're paying you know, a substantial amount of money, and so like how long is this going to last me? Typically, if you're going from no Botox to being Botox, I say like plan on 3 months. That's typical. Everyone metabolizes it differently. And so that first time I say plan on 3 months, but it's muscle. So what it is it's going in and it's paralyzing those muscles essentially.
That was literally going to be my next question. Is explain like what Botox even does.
Yeah, so it
because a lot of it people don't understand like what the preventative Botox is.
Yeah, and Botox is preventative. Number one, it's preventative. So if you come in when you're, you know, 50 and you're like, I want to start doing Botox, it's kind of a little bit late. I mean, there are some people like you could do it.
You should have started 10 years ago.
Yeah,
if not more than that.
But really, I mean, and there's even girls in their like 20s and stuff that it's called baby Botox, and they just get like a teen. Very minimal, a couple times a year, just for prevention. But yeah, Botox is prevention for sure. But how long it lasts, like any other muscle, if you're not moving it, it's going to atrophy, right? So if you're not working out, your muscles are going to atrophy and get smaller. And so that's why if you stay up on your Botox, it's going to start lasting you longer. And you're also getting the further benefits of when you're having like strong creases in your skin, like your forehead or whatever your lines here. This is probably the biggest place that people
mine is for sure.
Makes me look angry. I hate that. If you're
mine, you can always see my tan lines.
And your makeup will get stuck in it. But the constant movement of that, you're breaking down that collagen and elastin in your skin, and that's what causes those, like, we call them static lines, the lines that are like sitting in your forehead or sitting in between your 11s. And I had those, like, and genetically everyone's different. Some have 1 million on their forehead. Other people have like 1 or none. And so if you stay up on your Botox, you can get rid of those, and like good skincare and a lot of things. But Botox is the #1 selling thing in aesthetic, like, or neuromodulators in the aesthetic market right now. But really, if you pair it with other things, it's like just icing on the cake. So usually people start with Botox, and then they start like playing around with like a little filler, maybe in like the lips. But actually the #2, and this is what back to the Hollywood people that are like, I've never gotten Botox, but they've gotten 1 million other things. So there's biostimulators now. That's actually the #2 selling thing in the aesthetic market.
I've never even heard of this.
They're incredible. So Sculptra is the name, like the biggest one right now. And I've been watching it.
It's not like the Kybella thing, right?
No, Kybella is fat dissolver.
Okay.
So that's totally different. This is a biostimulator. So it goes underneath your skin, and it builds like kind of scaffolding essentially. So it builds that collagen and elastin underneath your skin that you've lost with time up. And so
basically like putting it back.
The results are unreal. They're unreal. Gosh. And so I've been watching
you're injecting this Sculptra.
Yeah, it's like it's a fluid that you inject underneath the skin.
It builds upon your old stuff.
It adds new.
Just adds new.
Oh
my gosh.
It's incredible. The results, the picture you'll see are incredible. Like those fine lines, not even the fine lines and wrinkles, like your deep wrinkles around your nose and your mouth, and like the ones that people hate. It and in your temples, like hollowing of your temples.
I know mine like
and like as you like age, you start to get like it just is more crepey. The skin, it helps with your skin texture. It helps with like volume. They're all getting that.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah, so they're saying, I don't get Botox, but they are getting this.
But you're getting
that.
Sculptra, you're getting lasers, you're getting medical grade skincare, you're doing everything but the Botox. But even actors now, for a long time, they weren't doing any Botox because you need some expression.
Yes,
but you can still, like, you can do really light Botox and have expression.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and with Botox, like, you can, if you're like, come to me and you're like, I just want it softened, we don't have to freeze anything.
No,
right?
For sure. Because, like, I don't even know, like, I would say, I mean, I started again, so that was like, what, 4 or 5 years ago. I guess you said it was like right before COVID. And so since then, like, I kind of built up as well. Like, I'm more frozen now than I was 3 years ago. And I like that because I'm older now and I had different lines and all of that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's definitely changed over time, but I also feel like my muscles have also changed over time. Where like, again, it's not as like I can go longer in between. I feel like the wrinkles are a little softer right before I get them done again. So it's not like
and dose equals duration with Botox too. Is like the higher the dose you get. So if you do, like, if you're like, I don't want to be frozen, I want to be a lot softer, it's probably not going to last you quite as long, but you'll just have to go in, every 3 months or every 2 months or whatever to get that desired result. Or if you're like, I'm fine to be frozen. So for me, I'm a big baby and I'm like, I don't like to do this a lot.
And I love it, you guys. I love it. Every time I get it done, I tell Shelly and I tell my husband this too, and he's like, you're crazy. But like the pin, the needle, when it goes in, it's like a pop sound on your skin.
Or crunch. A lot of people
like a crunch. Okay, that's a great idea. Like,
it's a teeny tiny. It's like the smallest needle you can get is tiny.
It literally, I know this is going to be like the craziest, like, but it's like when you have a really crisp grape and you like squish it in between your fingers, or like those things at the beach in California that look like, like a grape, and you like pop them in between your toes or something. Yeah. It 100% sounds like that. And I love it. I love it so much. Yeah. It's a weird thing. Funny. The needles also don't freak me out, so.
Yeah. But you know what? I have so many clients that needles, like, really stress them out, and they do just fine.
Yeah, well, because the needle's like, oh my gosh, what is it, like 1/8 of an inch?
Yeah, it's tiny.
So tiny.
And it's the smallest gauge needle you can even buy on the market. And, I mean, there's so many things, like I said, because I'm a baby, I do so many things to help, like I use like the vibrator bar to like help distract your nerves, and I use how I draw it up, and so I make sure my needles are super sharp, and the typo that I use, So there's a lot of things that go into it. That some people say like the forehead hurts the most, and I'm like, for me, my forehead hurts the most, but around my eyes hurts the least.
I think mine is like the most around my eyes. It kind of makes them more.
And everyone's so different, but everyone's pain is so different with everything.
100%. I love that you said about the vibrator bar though, because I feel like that's a lot. Like, people are like, what does that even do? Yeah. So essentially it just takes the pain, or it makes you think that the pain is somewhere else.
No, so your nerves can feel pain or vibration. So it's called the gate theory. So they can feel pain or vibration. So if they're feeling vibration, it's taking away some of those pain. So it's just distracting your nerves from the pain via vibration.
Okay, that makes sense, because I feel like I've actually like seen videos from like other injectors online, like on Instagram and stuff, and people I feel like are always asking that question, like, what does that even do? Like, does that help like move Botox around or anything like that?
A lot of people have questions.
No, it has nothing to do with it. Right, it's literally it's basically to tease you or to like make you
distract.
Distract. Yeah, that's a good word, distract.
And but you should never ever go to an injector. You should always ask of what. So typically you don't do any oh my gosh, I can't think of the word right now. You don't do any sort of numbing or anything for Botox, because it's, like we said, it's such small and it's so quick, it would be more painful to numb the area. For lips, you should 100% get fully numb. Fully numb. So I used to
get that business all good.
And I have so many patients that come in and they're like, I did this without any numbing. And I'm like, how? And some patients just have done it, and I'm like, that should be illegal. It's so painful. I used to do just like a topical numbing, and now I do a full dental block, and so people you literally don't feel anything.
That's amazing. Because I think when you very, very first started, because I did mine.
Yeah, I just did topical.
So she did mine. Yeah, like when you very first started. So like 4 years ago. So it's probably dissolved by now, right? Yeah. But that's you just did the topical. But I remember still being like, it kind of made my eyes water a little bit, but I didn't feel like it was crazy painful because it still was like there. Obviously,
I thought I was going to damn near die. Just topical numbing. I holding onto the chair. I was like, keep going.
I can handle it. Well, this is the thing. So my lips are tattooed and like the full lip blushing, I got it done like, oh my gosh, a long, long time ago, probably like 13 years ago. And then I just got it redone like within the last couple of years. And the very first time I did it like 13 years ago, same, it was just topical, which it always is, but my lips would not numb. Ugh. They would not numb. So she is going over with a full tattoo gun and I am just sobbing. I don't know how you did it. She's also like, you're like really bleeding a lot. And I'm like, I know I'm bleeding a lot. I can feel it. And so it was so incredibly painful. My lips were so swollen after that for days, but I loved the result. It was worth it to me. But at the same, I guess that same year that I got my lips done, I got my
microbladed?
My eyeliner tattooed, and the girl I think did some type of a dental block because I did not feel anything on my eyes. Absolutely nothing. Just like pressure. Just like that somebody was like pushing my eyelid.
Oh.
And so that was what I was expecting going in for my lips because I had already had my liner done.
Gotcha.
So then even 2 years ago, or I think it was like 2 years ago or last year or something, when I got my lips done again, the first time it didn't work great. And so same, it was like super painful. But then the second time she did a different numbing, even though it was topical, it was like a better, maybe had more lidocaine or something.
Yeah, probably like a stronger.
And same, I didn't feel a thing. Like it was a dream.
Yeah.
But that, I am obsessed with it. I love lip blushing. I will literally do it forever. And I told everyone that they should get it done. And I do have a great girl if anyone is interested. But I don't know. It just, the pain with that kind of stuff, when they really say that beauty is pain, it is 100% true.
Yeah.
Because there are so many things that we do that is so painful.
Right.
But I don't know.
But lip filler should not be one of them.
Yes, lip filler should not. So again, make sure you go to somebody.
And that's
my other thing. Okay, so I feel like this is also something a lot of people talk about. You have to be an RN to get, right? Okay, tell me what things you have to have done to even get into the Botox injector course.
Right. So you have to have a medical license. So you can be an RN. If you're an RN, you have to then have a medical director over you, because it is a drug. You are prescribing a drug. So you have to have either a physician or a nurse practitioner over you as your medical director. Or you can be obviously a nurse practitioner, a PA, but PAs have to have a medical director over them as well. Okay. Or you can be a physician or a dentist can do it. So you have to have a medical license.
Yeah.
And then you can go take a course. And then you have to do a crap ton of
hours.
Education.
Right? Yeah.
No, I mean, it's kind of scary.
Okay.
There's actually not a lot of
hours required.
No. You go to a 1 day course. It's kind of freaky. And it's not even a full day. You do one patient injection for Botox, one for lips, and then they're like, okay, go inject the world. Don't mess anyone's face up.
Which is terrifying.
It's terrible. There's not a lot of regulation in it right now. And it's a very gray area because they don't even know who's over it because it's this weird cross of medical and then also aesthetics. The beauty. Yeah, aesthetics.
Yeah.
Where it's even with tipping. People ask me all the time, do you tip your injector? And I'm because in the medical world, you never tip.
Yes. Yep,
right?
Totally.
Which we always joked about because we're we just did CPR on you for 20 minutes and saved your life.
That was a huge service.
Can I get a tip for that? Or I wiped your butt all day long with that diarrhea coming out. And I give you that. It's so funny. It's just, but then
I don't even get paid though by you as a customer, patient.
Yeah.
It goes through insurance in the hospital or whatever it is.
And then there's the aesthetic and beauty market where it's you tip everybody.
Yeah.
right?
Yep, totally.
And it's funny. And so it's this weird crossover, even like through Doppel and stuff. They're like, when we come to like investigate this, they don't even really know who to bring because it's just this weird mix between the two. And so there's not a lot of regulations on it. So that's why I'm like, research who you're going to go to.
Yeah.
Like I did a ton. I probably spent close to $10,000 my first year just in continuing education.
Yes.
Because I was like, I am not going to mess somebody's face up.
Yeah.
And then it's always changing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even in the medical field, everything's always changing. And so I'm always doing more education. And the aesthetic world, it's not cheap. It's not cheap education.
No, not at all.
And
even hair stuff. Like I have looked at classes and it's like $1,200 for a 6-hour class.
Yeah.
It's like, how many classes could you possibly go to? And then you have to fly to go to it. Anyway, it's crazy.
Right. Yeah. It's just, and there's a lot. So, always research your injector really good. Make sure they know what they're doing, that they're using FDA approved products. And
I think word of mouth, you guys, like ask your friends. This is what I'm saying. Like, do not make this a taboo subject. Yeah. Because I guarantee you, if you put a lineup of 10 women in a room, 8 out of 10 women have gotten something at least a little bit injected. Right.
And I had a patient just the other day. She was saying her husband was bagging. They were with a group of friends. Her husband was just bagging on Botox and how he can tell that every woman that has had Botox. And she's like, he was going off. And she's like, he goes to the bathroom and she's like, yours truly has Botox. And I'm getting it for years. And he has no idea.
Yep.
Right. And it's like, it's just so funny. It's like all your friends are getting it.
Yes. And that's exactly it though, is that no one will know if you're getting it if it's done the right way.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So word of mouth for sure. I tell so many people about Shelly, literally everyone, because I am not shy about telling people why my face looks so good. That sounded very pompous, but but really, truly, but there's a lot of times where people will say like, oh my gosh, you're 40, like you don't look that old. And I'm like, right, because I have Botox. I 100%.
I started preventing.
That is the reason why I look that way, because I have been doing Botox for 4 years. I will swear by that till my freaking grave.
Right.
I'm a huge fan. I don't know. It just
but now you're 40, you gotta start, we might have to start doing fillers and Botox together and then the biostimulators. It really is if you do multiple things together, you just get better results. And not that we're not, that's the other thing, is not that we're not trying to age.
No, but
there's nothing wrong with aging
gracefully.
Yes.
Why do you think that they say age like a fine wine?
Yeah.
Because aging's inevitable. Tons of people this year has been like, oh my gosh, can you believe you're 40? I'm like, and I talked about this in last week's episode with Tierney too. It's not that I'm scared to get old or because again, I know it's inevitable, but I'm like, why would I not just make it a little bit easier on myself?
Right.
Right. Yeah. I'm okay having fine lines and I love my laugh lines and things like that, but I am okay that I still am aging gracefully and not you look like a bag of buns already.
Right. Well, and I'll have so many people come in and they say, what do I need done? That is I get that question all the time.
Don't ever ask that.
But my answer to them is, if you don't think you need anything done, you don't need anything done.
Yep.
That's and that's the other thing, is a lot of injectors are paid off of commission, and so they'll try to upsell you. So be careful with that too. But I just say okay, when you look at a picture, what bugs you the most? Yeah. And people will be like, these lines right here, or my eye wrinkles, or or some people are like, I love my eye wrinkles. Right?
So you're great, we won't touch those.
Great, yeah. Or what is the number one things that bugs you the most? And so we'll treat that area. And I think if it doesn't bug you, don't treat it. That's my motto. And I really
totally agree with that.
I really my whole reason why I want to do it too is I just want you to be comfortable in your own skin. Right? Yeah. I want you to feel beautiful. I want you to look in the mirror and be like, oh, I really like this about me. Or I've had people that were like, I didn't never not like my face, but now that I do some injectables that have just kind of leveled me up a little bit, I love how my lips look. I look in the mirror and every time I'm just like, oh, that's so pretty. Or I love putting on lip gloss now, and I did it before. I love wearing lip color, and I never had lips before and I couldn't. you know, it's just a cool thing. And it's something that we should want to do for ourselves. Like, we don't do it for our husbands, right?
No, we don't. Because again, half the time they don't even know.
I know, right? We don't do it for anyone else, but it like, if it's that one thing that I can look in the mirror and I feel good about myself, it's totally worth it. And as women, we don't put ourselves ahead of anything.
No, we're
right?
always the last on the
And
list,
so it's like,
sure.
you will pay, you know, it's depending on the areas you're treating, it's around like 300, 400-ish bucks when you go get to your Botox. And you're like, oh gosh, I can't afford that. Like, I can't pay that for myself. But yet we pay that for our kids for sports, like every month.
Like every month.
You know, it's like, oh, I need to do that for my kids. Oh, my kids need something.
Yeah.
You know, we always just put ourselves last. And so I'm like, if this is the one thing that you do quarterly for yourself, and it makes you feel beautiful, great, do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I literally now, I 100% think I look better now than I even did 5 years ago.
Right. And that's what everyone,
I look back at pictures and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I look better now being older than I did. Yeah.
And that's the new Instagram trend on all the aesthetic pages. It's like me in 2024 versus me 10 years ago. And it's like this glow up or whatever.
So, I loved the Anne Hathaway one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it was like a video or like a reel or something of Anne Hathaway from
when she was 24.
Princess Diaries. Yeah, and she's like crying. And then in this new one, which I'm obsessed with, her new rom-com with, oh my gosh, what's his name? I can't even think of what it's called. It's like the newest one. And she's like a 40-year-old and she's dating a guy that's like 24 in the movie.
Yeah.
And she looks amazing.
And she starts crying.
Yeah, she looks crying, but she looks graceful.
She looks so graceful. She's got Botox now.
I don't want to ugly cry. I want to gracefully cry.
Right. And you know what? They're also like, don't think that you have, like I said, don't think you have to get it. If you don't,
for sure.
If nothing bugs you, great.
Then great. If you,
But don't judge anyone else that gets it either.
No, for sure. No, I love that.
It's the magic juice. And there's so many things out there people send me all the time, like, wear these frownies, you won't have to get Botox, or massage your face, you won't have to get Botox anymore. Like, do all these things, you won't have to get Botox.
They don't work, people.
Nothing works as good as Botox, people. Like, that's why it's so expensive. And it's an expensive product, too, right?
But like those frowny things, like, what's in those? Like, do you guys know what we're talking about? Like, there's like the patches that you can put like on your forehead or like down on your cheeks or around your eyes.
So I was just doing two sisters kind of came in to do both their lips together, which I love when friends or sisters come in together. It's so fun. But they were telling me about them because they were asking about them. And I was like, I honestly have never tried them because I'm very research based.
Yes.
And all the things that I do has to, like, you have to show me the research first. But they told me essentially it's like a sticker. So it's more for like the lines from when you sleep. So if you have any lines on your face that are vertical, that is a sleep line. Yep. Like I have them. Just like this. Yeah, I have one too. Like on my face, and they're like, it'll be worse in the morning. Yeah. Any vertical line, like here or here. Well, this one's different, but most vertical lines are from sleep. Okay. Horizontal is going to be like from movement.
From expression.
Movement. Yeah. And so they said it's like essentially putting a piece of like duct tape on your forehead.
What?
So that it can't crease as much from sleep.
Oh wait, you sleep with them on?
Yeah, that's what they told me. I cannot speak to them because I have
no idea. I have a few people, someone that you and I both really know, but I'm not going to say any names, who has used them. And I think that they said that they swore by them. Like I said, I don't really like have details. And then, I know somebody else close to me who I'm almost positive same has like used them and stuff. And I don't know, to me, but I'm the same.
But I would think
maybe not research based, but I really trust Shelly. I will basically do anything she tells me to do because this is what I look like with her pointing me in the right direction.
Right. But Courtney's just beautiful in and of herself.
Oh, like
it's an easy canvas, like we said. She's easy. I don't do much, but
no, she does.
The magic juice helps.
Yes, it's amazing. No, I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, well then that brings me to my next question. Working moms. We should have a moment of silence for all the working moms who feel batshit crazy right now
Right.
during the summer because, yeah, like I said, this is the first summer I've taken off in literally since I've had kids. I've never
Right.
stayed home with my kids before for this amount of time ever.
Yeah.
And it is, I don't even know what I would have done because I feel like I'm running around more this summer than ever. And if I would have like booked clients, I would have been like canceling everywhere.
Right. Right.
So,
and I feel like working moms, there's very few non-working moms these days.
yeah, totally. I feel like it's absolutely a 2-income household for like
Absolutely.
everyone,
Everything's
95%.
so dang expensive. And
yeah.
I was just thinking like all my friends in the last year or two, like most of us, and I don't know, I'm like, is it our time of life that we're at? Cause we're all like, now all of our kids are in school. Sure. But also I just think inflation is just so crazy that.
Well, and I think a lot of times too, cause Erin and I have talked about this obviously with like me being out of work, but not being out of work, but like taking the summer off. Cause I'm like, I know, but like, it makes me feel like I'm not contributing. And like, that's for me, one of the biggest reasons why I work. Cause I'm like, I am an able body. Mm-hmm. There is nothing that is holding me back from working and bringing money to the table for our family. Mm-hmm. So why would I not be working? Yeah. And so I think that that's, I don't know, at least from some of the people I've talked to, it's that they're like, oh yeah, well, my kids are in school all day. I'm not doing anything. And so, and I am an able body and I can, so why not do something to like bring a little money?
Right,
you
right.
know?
But I also feel like just running a household is
a full-time
and a half job. Yeah. Like we were talking about, it's like
for sure.
When we're at work, you know, we're like constantly checking our phone, or we have to be available to our kids, and it's hard. It's so hard, and finding the balance is the hardest thing, and I'm still working on it because now, like we said, I work at a clinic, a family practice clinic 2 days a week, and then I do injections 2 days a week, which people are like, you only work 4 days a week. That's not that big of a deal.
No, but you literally can't do anything else on those days. So that's 4 days a week that you don't get to do anything for the house.
Right. Yeah. 4 days a week, you're doing nothing else. Yeah. Also, it's like, I almost feel like doing 2 jobs is harder than doing 1. Yeah,
because you're having to manage
both of them, and like running,
sure.
like you know, like running your own small business. Like there's so much that goes in the back end, and
because we have to do everything. Like we buy all our own product. Yep. We have
do
to
all the scheduling, all the
we literally do everything,
all the social media, all the everything. Yeah. But yeah, this is like probably one of the hardest things for me right now is figuring out the balance, because I want to be a mom and I want to be there for my kids, and there's always this mom guilt, you know, and so it's like, well, if you're saying yes to this, you're saying no to your kids, right? Or like, you know, and it's just your priorities, I think, a lot too. Is like some moms, it's super important for them to be on every single field trip, or to help in the classroom, or to be there when their kids get home from school, you know, and there's certain things that are important to you that might not be as important to me, or to like, even between me and my husband, there's different things that are more important, because we talk about, like, he talks about like, I want someone home when the kids get home from school every day, because he's like, my mom
and
wasn't.
I'm like, why? They don't even want to talk to me.
I know. He's like, my mom wasn't. But the funny thing is me growing up, I'm like, my mom was, and I don't remember her being there.
Yeah. Totally.
You know, I don't know necessarily. I don't remember not being there, but I don't remember like.
Well, no, but there's nothing that like stands out in your mind. Like, oh, I remember every day after school, my mom was, you know, she had a thing with cookies.
Yeah.
Like,
it
was nothing that was like memorable in that regard. Yeah. Well, and I think too, and that's why I love that you actually brought that up, because I think that there's, I mean, we all can have our own opinions, and we can have, you know, however we want to do it. For me, I've never not worked. Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to work. Like, I wanted to have my own thing. I appreciate that I've done that. And, but I feel like I've been able to do both sides, right? Of being a mom and being a working individual. But I also think it is important. I have seen it with my own children. We've talked about it in the past, that it actually is a huge life skill for our kids,
for sure,
to have to be independent.
100%.
Like my kids can come home and they're self-starters. I mean, for the most part.
Right.
Okay, they're not 100% at any of this, but they, you know, they can make their own after school snack, or they can get their backpacks ready. They pack their own lunches in the morning. Like so many things. They went to daycare for years.
Yeah.
You know, I have some amazing individuals. Yeah. And they can socialize with people. They can walk into a room and talk to people, and not that like kids can't do that haven't gone to that, but I have seen in our kids' lives that I am grateful for the life skills that they've learned of having a mom that works. Right. And that they've like, you know, like we work hard and like, you know, we, I don't know. When we talk about like, okay, well, you want that something, then that is going to take mom, you know, a full cut and color to be able to do that, or whatever our, you know, our thing is, or that's going to take me this many hours to pay for that. Yeah. So you have to, I don't know. I just feel like I see, again, both sides.
There's pros and cons. Yeah.
I've always worked, so I can't even say like what the other side of it is, but being home this summer, I don't feel like has been any different really, besides just driving my kids around. Like, I don't feel like they've been like, oh, Mom, I'm so grateful you're home. You know, I feel like half the time they're just like, I just need a ride. Yeah. And then they could give a ride.
Like I said, I think it's our stage of life too, where when our kids were little, that's when we could go to the pool and like go do stuff more together. Yes. Where now our kids, they don't even want us to be teenagers. Home. It's just, they're just crazy. Yeah. But I also feel, and someone gave me this advice when I was a young nurse and I had babies, and it still like resonates to me to this day, is they were like, your kids need you when they're older. Like, when they're babies, anyone can change a diaper, anyone can feed them. Like, yes, you love your kids and you want to be with your kids,
but they will not remember.
Yeah, they don't remember, and they also like, it's great that they're learning other things. Yeah. But when you have teenagers and older kids, like they need you specifically. Like they're having a bad day. They need emotional support. Like it's just, I mean, and you're more into the teenagers than I am. I just have a 12-year-old whose puberty is hit real hard, real fast.
That Barry White voice. There's a very mad
and those emotions. Oh, the emotions are so strong, strong. Yeah. But yeah, they need you.
I know.
They need you.
I totally agree with that.
The more that I, you know, get seasoned in parenthood, I'm like, 100%. Yeah. They need you or your husband, you know, or you know.
Totally. And in fact, too, I think like when we say that like they don't remember, like there's often times where I've said to my kids, like, don't you remember when so-and-so watched you? And they were like, no, I don't even remember that. I'm like, really? Because there were times when like Dylan, he's going to be a sophomore, he was in school full time. So it was just my twins who were at the daycare. But then there were times when there was like a school holiday where I was like, I still had to work, but he was out of school. And so he would go there. And even him being, he had to been like 3rd or 4th grade by that time. And he doesn't even remember going to the so-and-so's house, you know, to like be babysat. Right. So yeah, I don't know. It's
but then I had a patient tell me today that she's like, I remember when I was 5, I would hide under the table and wait till my mom could like notice I was gone and like would see how long it took her. And so now I have like issues with like my mom not remembering me, and I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Well, what have I remembered?
I know. I'm like, listen, there's always going to be something. We actually talked about this with my siblings like last week. We had gone to dinner and we all have such different recollections, or perspectives from growing up. Where I'm like, I remember this and this happened, and my brother was like, that is not how it was. I'm like, yes, it was. Yeah. Or like, I don't know. It was so interesting. And obviously your parents are at different stages of life as well, where like the youngest has like parents who are more financially stable and all these things, where it's like, if you're one of the older ones, they're still usually like either in school or like just starting off, or like, you know, they don't have as much money.
But I think a lot of it is just the perspective of the kid. Because totally. Even like my siblings were all very like close in age, like very like bam, 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 like a year apart, like so close. And so like very close in age.
Which is also so crazy to me. Come on, Kristin. That's just kidding.
Like, I don't know. I could be crazy. But it's like, my sister's perspective is so different than my perspective. So I was joking, like, it's not if our kids are going to need therapy, it's how much.
Yes. And when they will.
And when.
Not like, if, but when.
I'm just going to go ahead and start that therapy fund now.
Yes.
But being a working mom, I mean, and I've seen things. It's like, why do we not talk about being a working dad, right?
Sure.
And it's like, more than ever before, we're starting to more share the roles of all the things.
Yeah.
Right?
For
like
sure.
it's like, okay, like my husband cooks dinner actually a lot most of the time.
Oh, I've gotten recipes from him, you guys.
Yeah. And I hate cooking. It's like,
I hate cooking. I hate it so much. Why do we have to do it every night?
Worst.
Yes.
They want to be fed all day, every day.
I know. And that's, again, make them independent, you guys. Make them make their own freaking dinners.
I
know. Okay, well, there was one more thing I wanted to touch on. What was it now? Just about being a working mom. We kind of talked about this a little bit before, but our village.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it is so important. I talked about this last week, to have a village, because Tierney and I were talking about just our group of friends, like our 12 friends who, yes, is in our bunko group, but again, that's just like 12 of our best friends, that any single one of us can put a text out and be like, hey, my kid needs to be picked up at 7 p.m. tonight. I can't be there. Who can be there?
Right. Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that's also like huge. And that's how it has been between you and us for so long, is it was like, hey, I can't do this. Can you pick up the slack? Where it's like both of our husbands are gone. And we've done that. And again, different seasons of life, we definitely don't have to do it as much as like we used to. But I don't know. It's just like so important, I think, being a working mom, to make sure that you have that village.
Yeah. And like, I think back now that we were just talking about like from when I was a kid, like I remember actually so much more things that I did with my best friend's mom, who was down the street.
Yeah.
Like, because we both have our different strengths, right?
Yes.
And so it's like, same with your teenage son. You're like, I literally have told him that 3 times, but he doesn't listen to me.
No,
but
he listens to her.
I say it once, and he's like,
that makes so much sense. I'm like, that's literally what I just told you.
But it's coming from someone else.
Yes.
Or like, my friend's mom was the fun mom and did like all these activities with us. And I remember so much of that as a kid.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, I have different strengths than you have different strengths than I have. You can talk to my kids differently than I can talk to them. So I think that's important too.
And it's true. They will listen to somebody else, because it's not, you're the voice that they hear every day.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure.
And when it's somebody else, it's like, oh, that sounds different.
Yeah.
Even though it's literally the same thing. It just sounds different.
But her son will ask me a lot of like medical questions, right? And so I think he thinks I have like more cred.
You do. Even though it's like, Shelly literally told me that I told you, and you still don't believe me, but okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Teenagers.
Oh my
Teenagers
gosh.
might.
I know. But do you guys see now why I love you so much?
You're so sweet.
Literally the bestest neighbor ever, but also like one of my very and nurse practitioner, and like just all the things. You're just freaking wicked smart.
No, I'm just always trying to learn. Always learning and feeling like I never know enough.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is literally everyone goes to you. I'm so sorry about that. Because we all are just like, oh, I know, but Shelly will know.
I don't know about that.
It is. It's very true. Then I'll be like, when you're 70, now I finally figured it out. Oh my gosh. No.
Women things though, I feel like I'm getting bad, but that's my passion, is women's like
health and stuff.
And like women's inequality in health, which I know sounds so crazy, but I'm just like,
no, it's not.
Why have we never talked about menopause until now? Like,
oh my gosh, I know.
Research?
Yes.
Why do we not like
100%.
all these things?
Especially because I'm probably like perimenopausal or whatever, like probably sometime soon. Yes.
Essentially,
I know.
I mean, they can start it, like, you can have symptoms as early as 40.
Oh my gosh. Please don't tell me that.
51 is the median age for menopause.
Okay.
And it can start 10 years. Symptoms can start 10 years prior.
Okay. You're coming on again.
Oh,
this might have to be an every quarter thing.
About women's
because but also like I feel like we could touch on so many different things every single time you come. So it will happen again. I feel like we need to wrap it up today. I don't even know. I can't even tell what we're at, but we're for sure over an hour. See, I told you we can talk, and guys, oh my heck. Everyone's going to know. Maybe people are going to be like, I can't listen to her. She talks too much. She talks too long.
Can I tell the story though? about when we were driving to St. George?
Oh, yes. Yes. I know. But she's probably going to hear it and be like, oh my gosh.
So funny. We're
Yes,
driving. There was
please.
4 of us in the car. Were you driving?
Yes, I was driving.
I think, yeah, because I was in the back seat. And we're like almost just like 4-hour drive-in. And our friend that was with us, she like looks over and she's like, what did you say? Do you ever stop talking?
You really don't ever stop talking, do you? And I was like, listen, I'm driving and I don't want to fall asleep. And no, I can literally talk. I said in last week's episode, till the cows come home. I can talk and talk and talk.
Right.
Which again, I know I sometimes can be a little much. So sometimes I need to like back it off. But
tired after you talk like to your clients? Like,
so I don't unless it's been like a really heavy topic or like something like that, then I can. But no, because I would say, a true extrovert.
Yeah.
Where when I am talking and chatting and like getting to know people, that's what spikes my dopamine.
Right. Okay.
So that makes me actually feel more rejuvenated and more back to square one? How would you explain it? Because I know like introverts, like they need to like
kind of.
Like, yeah, they need to
fills your bucket.
Yes. Yeah. Like an introvert is like, I need to be alone to like reset that, where my resetting is talking to people. Like when I've been alone for too long, I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody talk to me. Like I need some conversation. And I think that that's honestly why I love podcasts so much.
Yeah.
Right? Because like I need to be able to
like
listen to other people talk when I can't talk to other people. I don't know. I know that sounds so bananas, but
right. Well,
I don't know.
It's so interesting because I feel like I'm an extrovert too. Like
yeah.
I love being around people. Like even when my husband's gone, like I'm just popping over to Courtney's house or some other neighbor's house just to like chat it up.
Yeah.
But I do feel tired. Like at the end of the days, like when I'm with like patients and clients, I'm just like, I feel like I'm like on. Is that a weird way to say? Like, I feel like I'm
Aaron
on.
talks about that all the time. Like when he's at work, he's like, I feel like I'm like having to like not put on a persona because you're not like changing who you are, but you're like, you're like having to think through and like conversate and like ask questions and all that kind of stuff.
Right. I don't know. I maybe that's something I need to learn better from you is like, I need to
I
figure
think
out
it's
like,
just
because I'm like, I come home and I'm like, I don't want to answer all the questions. I want to talk. Like people are asking me stuff all day long. Like I just want to like not talk for a second.
Yes.
But maybe and that's like why we've talked to you like your commute time after you get off work.
Oh yes.
I
need that because
mine's like a 3-minute commute.
Yep. Yeah. And mine's like 20 to 25 depending on the traffic.
Yeah.
And it definitely gives me that time to decompress.
Yeah.
For sure. Because a lot of times I actually on the way home from work, I don't listen to anything. No radio, like no nothing, because I'm like just need to be alone with my thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's good. I need to figure out how to.
That's interesting.
Like, that balance. Because it's weird. I love people. I love talking to people, but I don't know. I also like feel very deeply. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So like, and I really like if people are like trusting me. I think I just feel maybe it's the responsibility.
Sure.
Maybe that's what it is.
I can absolutely see that.
I truly, truly want to help people, whether it be, like I said, like whether it be in aesthetics that make them just feel better in their own skin or, whatever medical thing they're coming in for, that I feel like maybe it's just that responsibility. I don't know. I've never thought about that.
But I think that that's where like when someone sits in my chair and they are dealing with something really heavy, like, a loss of a family member or struggling with a divorce or I don't know, something heavy, then for sure those days are more draining. Because you are taking on somebody else's like emotions and stuff.
Right.
But like I still wouldn't change it because I feel honored every day that I am that person's sounding board.
Right.
Where they like trust me that they will sit down in my chair and pour out their heart to me. And a lot of times I am not the closest person to them.
Yeah.
I am somebody who sees them every 3 to 4 months,
And I think there's something with like, I don't know what it is, but you're providing a service because it's similar to like my Botox share.
Yeah.
Like people get like I finally got a box of tissues because like people cry so much
gosh.
in this chair. Not for pain, but for just like because we're talking.
Yes.
It happens multiple times a week. And
they just pour their heart out to you.
I think maybe it's like because you're doing a service for them, so they feel closer. I don't know what it is, but
Well, it is you think about like, that's a really personal space.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Touching their face, touching their hair, like so many things that I feel like they do feel a connection to us that's totally different than, especially if they're like at your clinic, right? Mm-hmm. If you like go in and the, doctor walks in or whatever and sits down on the rolly chair and while you're like, I don't really want to talk to you, but like you lay down and you're injecting in their face or you're touching their hair, you're like, oh, I feel good with you. Like, it's a connection. It's different.
It is different because I'm like, yes, I am in people's very personal spaces. They're usually at the clinic, but it is a little different vibe. That's the thing is you just gotta find a provider too that's like will listen to you.
Yes,
that's what most people want, anyways.
I know they just want someone to listen to them. I totally agree.
For sure. Sorry, we keep random.
No, that's what I'm saying, guys. We could talk and talk and talk, but thank you for joining us. We will definitely have Shelly on again. Will you come on again, please? Yes. I told you this is so fun.
I feel awkward.
This is so fun, you guys. So fun. I know it's more the video, but I think most people will listen anyway. But so grateful for you in all aspects of life. But thank you for coming on and thank you for supporting me because like you were a huge push in me doing this. And I don't know. You guys, I have like the very best friends. Like I can't even imagine. I'm so excited for you and so proud of you. I have the coolest friends. It's actually like been so cool scary.
I know. Trying something new is so scary.
I know. So this recording may not be fantastic, you guys, but we're going to get there. Okay. Early stages. Just remember that. Early stages. Okay. Well, thank you for hanging out with me today. And we'll see you next time.